It is great to be here at dedication of the beautiful rehab facility across the street right behind me that represents a great step forward in helping Women's Treatment Center. Provides women with care, recovery tools they need to rebuild their lives and their family lives, become successful members of our society. What's remarkable, I think, is the road that women's health care has traveled in Chicago to get this point. As you probably know, this building used to be the Mary Thompson Hospital, which was organized in 1865. And just pointed out, the city of Waterford, Ireland just honored me, and my great-grandfather arrived in 1865 in Chicago. So you think of that, 1865 just came out to me. And this was founded by Dr. Mary Thompson, because neither of the two hospitals in town at that time, now listen to this, allowed women on the staff. And one of them didn't admit female patients either in 1865. So Chicago women raised all the money for this hospital, and they managed it. Thankfully, our minds are open to many more things today than they were in 1865. We have many hospitals now and many female doctors, many places for women to get care. So the rehab of this building represents the continuation of our roots, of our great tradition, and never forgetting from whence we came from, of women like her, Mary Thompson, who had the vision and foresight and stamina to fight this issue in 1865 and figuring out a way to meet all the needs. The Women's Treatment Center is a national model. Now listen to this, a national model providing treatment and support services to women and children in our community. And I think the federal government and the state can learn a lot. I wish all of them would come here and talk to Dr. Oates and the staff and find out. It is better for recovery and then just allowing the people out there who go in the criminal justice system or become homeless and destroy their families, and also destroy another generation of children because there's no recovery, there's no treatment. In fact, it's one of the few substance abuse programs in the nation, I pointed out, that can accommodate children in residential treatment. And that's very important. It makes it especially a valuable resource to our city. The recession is challenging. We know that on a daily basis. But institutions such as Treatment Center, which received considerable support from government, had an especially difficult time. Cuts in state funding in the past 3 years have hit the center hard. And it's really interesting. We keep cutting that program like this. Where do people end up in prison? Where do people end up on the street? Then what happens to their children? So you have to have vision, you have to have courage, you have to have your courage to say what's important, what's not important. Simple as that. And that's what you have to say. That's why the city was pleased through Tax Increment Financing has been able to provide the center with $1 million to help pay for a number of improvements, a lobby area, waiting room, exterior improvements, repairs. These TIF funds will help the center carry out its mission, serving as many as 1,500 women and 300 children every year. The center provides employment in this community, 136 employees. Over 70% live in the city, which is really important for us. And I want to thank them. All the many people who have helped this project completion should be very proud today. Your hard work would make life better for countless women and children, and their families and friends. And I hope people in government come back, both in the federal and state government, come over here and see what they're doing. We can educate your state representatives, your senators, your congressmen, your senators. You can educate these people and say, now this is something that's helping people. And it's rebuilding their lives. To me, that's a true spirit of Chicago. People working together. And you see, they're not working together in Springfield and Washington. And we all get frustrated because we pay our taxes, right? To the federal government, the state government. But they're not, they're not Republican money and they're not Democratic money. It's people's money. So remember that. It's just, what is that parties keep arguing and fighting, and nothing will get done in the long run. It's great frustration for people, and that's really sad. The TIF money that helped rehab this building is just one of the ways that helped to make the near West Side a better place over the past 22 years. There are so many people to thank for the progress, and not just the community, but citywide, that today I'm starting a neighborhood appreciation tour as ambulance goes by. Right here in the 27th Ward, to thank Chicagoans for their collaboration, their spirit in helping Chicago move forward, highlight some of the things that were accomplished. And Ernest Gates, again, I just want to mention his name because he is the one who stood with me in 1981 and said, we are going to make a difference on the West Side. I thank the people of Chicago over 22 years of working together. I mean, there'll be differences of opinion, and we have to make sure there's difference of opinion, but in the end result, if you don't work together, nothing gets accomplished. You see that in Springfield and Washington. Nothing will be accomplished. We've been waiting 4 or 5 years for an infrastructure bill out of Washington, D.C. 5 years. 5 years. It's amazing because they can't get along with each other. You elect officials, not on their partisan basis, to get along with one another, make differences, and to be able to move your vision and move the city forward. And if you have a lot of people who want to stop everything, they want to stop progress, they want to stop this, they want to stop that. But if that's true, then you live in the past. If you live in the past, then nothing is ever given to the future of a city. Before I leave office, I'll go to many communities and tell them. I love the city. I think the greatest job in America to be mayor of the city of Chicago. That's why everybody comes back from Washington. Everybody else wants to come, you know. They all want to come to Chicago. Keep the president there. We don't want him to. He has another term to fill, so let's not. We don't want to move him out too fast. But to keep president there, and it was a great honor to be a public servant. I'm a public servant. I'm not an entitled servant. I work for you, and that's the issue. You work. Public people, servants in government work for you. Federal, state employees, they work for you. You're the one who pays their check. You're the one who pays their pension and health care. You give them all the holidays and sick time, you as taxpayers. And we have to remember it's institutions like this. They're more important than all the public employees you need. This institution helps people, rebuilds their lives. And so I believe that when I first took office, and it was a great honor for me to be the mayor of the city of Chicago, and to work together, we brought Chicago into the 21st century. Just came back from China. They're beyond the 21st century. They're not waiting for Democrats and Republicans and squabbles and fighting. They're just moving forward, because they really believe they want to rebuild their lives and want a better way of life, and we can learn a lot from them. So here on the West Side, if you were back then, 22 years ago, the West Loop was undergoing kind of a transformation. It was still stagnant, and what are we going to do with it? A lot of the buildings were just old, a lot of them were abandoned, some manufacturing facilities closed down, nothing was happening. And so like anything else, you start creating an environment of rebuilding the community and saying we can rebuild a community in the West Side. Again, example, the Randolph Corridor, and all of a sudden it just changed. It was so close to the downtown area, Old St. Pat's, all that, the whole West Side, after Canal Street, start moving west and to rebuild Madison Street, which is known as Skid Row for many years. Because you know why? That was the answer to homeless. That was the answer for alcohol and drug abuse. That was the answer to psychiatric problems. Let them live in flop houses. That was not the answer of America. The answer were treatment centers, SRO housing, supportive services, rebuilding their lives and moving forward. But unfortunately, America turned their back on many people and left them in the flop houses. And now today, we're rebuilding everyone's life and say we can do a better job. The old Chicago Stadium, and to work that in regards to the United Center and what that did turn around. The convention turned around in 1996 when we had it, and what we did in the West Side. And people argue, why are you doing that? We're having a convention in town. Why not? You can rebuild a community as you bring a convention in town. The TIF money we talk about today is part of a $399 million that have been designated to many projects in the 27th Ward. The Near North SRO, which took us another step forward, the isolation of homeless and public housing and giving hope for the brighter future. The TIF money, we rehab Halsted Street Bridge, supported the Hellenic Museum here and Van Buren and the Halsted, and what the Greek community has done for the city in regards to employment and business and families. And they were the great pioneers of our city. Really appreciate that. And of course, the improvement of the police academy. We helped bring the jewel store at Kinsey and Des Plaines, Johnny's Ice House facility. Who would say you're going to have an ice skating rink on the West Side, to Madison Street. created a new training center in Westtown, and we created Goose Island Industrial District less than 20 years ago. It's home to Wrigley Global Innovation Center, Kendall College, and the famous culinary programs. The TIF money helped redevelop the former Montgomery Ward catalog at 600 West Chicago, home to Groupon. We gave them a commitment of about $10 or $15 million. Now it's the fastest growing company, have thousands and thousands of employees working here in Chicago, around the country. Jim Jacoby, founder of Manifest Digital, which is with us today, who have created thousands of new jobs, helped bring a national spotlight on a technology leader. We become a technology leader overnight because of companies like that and others growing, and helps the employment base in Chicago. The Chicago Public Schools opened 5 new schools in this community, made improvements to 25 others. Think of that. No other city does it. And of course, the CHA Plan for Transformation was rebuilding their souls and not houses. Anybody can build a house, but you have to support its services. You have to take into consideration the problems that people have. Anybody can just put somebody in a home and say, I forget about you. And that's what the federal government did far too long, and it failed the nation. And when I go all over the world, guess what they're doing? They're taking high-rise public housing down because it isolated people, it took away their family, it took away their church, everything. It was not good for them. And again, the whole replacement of Cabrini Green and the isolation of them and the gangs and drug dealers taking over. And that was a sad comment to say. And what we see now is a whole rebirth of division in Clybourne and a mixed community, and taking care of people, grandparents raising grandchildren. We're taking care of seniors, homeless. We're taking care of single mothers with children and families, and looking at them completely different. Looking them at their soul and not just an infrastructure project. It's more to that. The Public Building Commission has constructed 9 new campus parks, play lots here in the new west side. The new Humboldt Park Library, 18th Street Police District, the library on Division Street. Through the PBC, we renovated 445 North Sacramento, just west of here, Center for Green Technology, that teaches engineers, architects, contractors, all about green technology to save people money in the construction of buildings, dealing with their energy costs, and to make it part of the community. A very comprehensive resource for the Midwest and the country and the world. It is the first LEED platinum rating by U.S. Green Building Council, the first of its kind in the nation. The CTA has undertaken many big projects all along Lake Street. We remember that big project on the west side, and we're an example. The total reconstruction of the Green Line, which included a new station here at Ashland Avenue, increased Pink Line services at the Ashland Station, reopening the Blue Line station at Grand and Milwaukee, reconstruction of the Brown Line stations at Sedgwick and Chicago Avenues, the ongoing construction of brand new Green Line station at Morgan, just up the road on Lake Street. Park District has opened 2 new parks, expanded 2 parks, made improvements to 5 others in this community in recent years. Further, there are 35 green roofs in the 27th Ward, which either required through our Sustainable Development Policy or are supported by Green Roof Grant Program or TIF funding. And again, that helps the environment. And that's quite a list. And we didn't even mention the streets, sidewalks, alleys, lighting improvements, curbs, gutters, median beautification, all the things that go in. Even the reentry program, taking ex-offenders reentry. I don't like the word ex-offender. I like reentry. Reenter society, and to look at them, and most of them are men. To be very frank, there's a certain percentage of women, but look at them as a human being and said, let's work together. We don't want you to go back. We don't want you to lose your family again. You have children out there, grandchildren. To me, we have graduations, and to meet these people, I'm telling you, if I could hire them, I hire all of them on the city workforce. Unbelievable. The best workers I've ever met in my life is all those reentry men and women out there that are not looking at their clock and saying, hey, I have to leave. I got a contract. I got time. I'm leaving now. But they work. And I've met them all over this city, and I just thank them. And just think, the program has helped not rebuild them, but their family too, and the community. We're not going to shun them anymore or put a stamp on their back. We're going to say we can do a much better job. And all those who participated with their ideas, their spirit, and their time. And that's what our system of government is based on. It's people. It's not brick and mortar. It's all about people. It's only by working together we accomplish so much. And I really believe that. You have to work together. People have differences, comments. People have different agendas. Always find out their agendas. Then you find out what they're doing. And you'll find out most of the time you're excluded. It's not about you, it's about them. We have sought out the ideas and opinions from everyone. I firmly believe the city is better off. We have a good foundation. It's been a joy and an honor to be your mayor. It has. And I thank you for that. Thank you very much.